If you really want to grow, seek out constructive criticism. Now, I know that's not easy and it's not comfortable, but seek out constructive criticism. Here in the 18th chapter of Exodus, Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, had to give him some criticism. And let me tell you the real reason that I believe that he gave him this criticism is because Moses, he was so busy trying to do the work of God, you know, he actually had to send his wife Zipporah back home with their children. And Jethro, the father-in-law, he's like, wait a minute, Moses. Now you got to take care of your wife and your children, Moses, Mr. Man of God. Because he said to Moses, Moses, the thing that you are doing is not good. Now, let me just say this, that Moses did not go to his father-in-law and ask for this wisdom. His father-in-law volunteered it. Now, this can be dangerous because unsolicited advice is often interpreted as criticism. But now here is what made a difference with Jethro, his father-in-law, is that he had relational equity. Have you ever known the truth about a person? I mean, you all think with me for just a moment. Have you ever known the truth about a person and you really wanted to tell them, but you knew that you didn't really know them like that? You didn't have the kind of relationship where they would receive it coming from you because you don't have the relational equity, but you know what's wrong with them and you know how to really correct their problem, and you wish you could just walk up to them and say, listen here, let me tell you what your problem is. You wish you had that relationship where you could honestly be the one to do that, but you have to have relational equity. You know, I was in a meeting of pastors, and somebody looked over at me. They said, Bishop Browner, you know so-and-so. Why didn't you correct him? You saw that he was off track. And I told him, I said, wait just a moment here. I said, I don't have relational equity. Yeah, I know him, but I don't know him like that. You know, I said, I don't have relational equity. You see, unrecognized authority is no authority at all. So you have to have relational equity. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had relational equity so he could talk to him. Here's another thing that qualified him to talk to his son-in-law, is because Moses is a man of God, servant of God for the people, the children of Israel. But Jethro also himself was a priest. He understood ministry and people. He was the priest of Midian. So you're talking from priest to a priest. And here this man that has wisdom, he says, listen, what you're doing now, you're young and strong now, but you're going to wear out real quick. If you keep doing that, you got all these trivial matters coming up to you. You don't need to be dealing with that, Moses. You know, you got a wife and children. You're going to kill yourself, and you're not going to be able to take care of your family. And he says, you need some help. You need someone to help you. You're one person, and you're trying to rule a nation here of about 1 million people. You are going to kill yourself. And he says, listen, you'll notice the story, verses, I won't read it for the sake of time, but verses 13 down through verse 24 records that particular story where he was giving him the wisdom of selecting individuals who could actually help him with that. And he told them, he gave them the criteria of the kinds of men that he needed. In verse 21, he says, moreover, you shall select from all the people able men. Don't get anybody who doesn't have competence. The most irritating thing that you could ever have is incompetent people around you. Incompetence, listen to this carefully, incompetence is always a distraction. Incompetence is always a distraction. He says the first thing, get able men. Get able men. Such as fear God. Get people who have a fear of God. There are some men who are able, but they have no fear of God in them. Get able men and get men who fear God. And notice, men of truth. Men of truth. If they're not men of truth, they're not going to last. It's just going to be a matter of time before their life collapses. Men of truth, and notice, hating covetousness. So they can't accept bribes, so that they'll be fair and equitable with the people. Hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of 10. And he said, let them judge the people at all times. And then it will be that every great matter that they shall bring to you, but every small matter they themselves shall judge, so that it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you. And so he gave him some very good constructive criticism, because Moses was limited as one man. He would have been burnt out, and he would have totally have failed his family had he tried to do it the way that he was currently doing it. He had to get constructive criticism. He got constructive criticism.